When and where you are born shapes every part of your life, from survival to health to schooling and beyond. Two children born in different places or decades can live completely different lives. First, the user will be guided to do a gamified life path activity where they'll select the region, year, and a gender to see what the gender gaps look like during that time and in that place. They'll be prompted to submit a guess for what they think enrollment rates look like for whichever gender they chose. Then they'll see how their guess really paired up to the ground truth. They'll be prompted to do this for primary school, secondary school, higher education, and then also for family and fertility, where they'll be asked to indicate how many children they think women were having during that decade in that region. They will also be prompted to guess the average lifespan for the gender they chose for a person born in that decade and in that region. One challenging feature for this interaction was building the guessing structure for each portion. Next, the user will scroll through a guided storytelling activity where they'll be given more information about the gender gaps, and we provide the first decade and last decade of data in our dataset to show how enrollment rates have changed from the first decade in our dataset to the last decade in our dataset. They'll then be guided to an animation activity where they can select the region, and then they will see how the gender gap has changed in education over time. Then they'll get to see a projection of education rate for girls and boys after the data set ends at the year 2020, projected into our current year of 2025 and out to 2035, so that they can have an understanding of what things might look like within the next decade. This is a cool feature because you can literally watch as the gap closes or as the gap shifts and women take the lead. After this, the users will have the opportunity to explore the world themselves and see what the statistics look like for any country on a more micro level outside of just a regional view. And they'll be prompted to select where they live so that they can see how they stack up in the grand scheme of things. Our motivation for this project was to highlight gender differences specifically in education and show how things have changed over time, where women are really starting to excel in the educational sector across the globe. Overall, it seems that people are gaining more education. The education gap does seem to be closing, and people tend to be living longer and reproducing less. Having this knowledge empowers us to understand how the world might change in the coming decade.